My attorney texted me last night, I'm officially divorced. I didn't cry last night, but I went straight to bed, and then I had some pretty messed up dreams. And I don't know, this morning, it's really like, just been such a long road. I'll never understand the cruelty and the discard. I'm not crying because I want him back. I'm crying because I'm alone now. You know, I don't really have anybody. I'm crying because our family's broken up. I'm crying because I only get my kids half time. I'm crying because I have to sell my house and find some place to live. I'm crying because he's off, like, living his best life with somebody new, and I'm still trying to process and heal and become my best self. I'm crying because of, you go from loving somebody to becoming like complete strangers. I'm crying for my kids. I'm crying because I'm 52 years old, and the thought of dating sounds terrible. I'm angry because of the lies that were told. It's all coming to a head right now. It's like the final letdown, because this has been, 15 months since we separated. Next chapter loading, right? I will never understand. Especially, when they go for somebody who's 15 years younger than you. Here's to being divorced.
Notice what she didn't say. Not once, in that entire list, did she say, "I regret the decision." Now pay attention to the expectation. She expected him to collapse, to regret, to chase. Instead, he moved forward with someone younger, living differently. Her words, not mine. Now listen carefully. She is not crying about love. She is crying about the collapse of structure, the house, the routine, the identity, the title, wife, mother, family unit. That kind of collapse hurts differently. And here's the pattern. This is not just one divorce. This is what happens when expectations are built on outcomes you cannot control. She controlled the decision. She could not control his response. 15 months of separation. He used them differently. Choices have timelines. Decisions echo later. This is not unique to her. The sequence repeats. Different women, different cameras. Same moment of realization. I'm not giving you the verdict. The evidence is already on the table. Stay sharp.
I have spent 23 years of my life trying to be somebody and something that I am not, and I have felt it so deep in my heart and in my soul that I am fighting something. And I really believe that it was my belief system at the time that was actually destroying me. It really wasn't my marriage or my situation. It was what I believed that was causing me to stay in a situation that wasn't good for me. It was my beliefs that was driving my life, not my circumstances. I was creating my circumstances, and it has been so eye-opening to learn what power I have over my own life. This whole thing has been so crazy, but I can feel something happening, and it's a good thing.
Pay attention to what she just admitted. 23 years. Not 23 years of a bad marriage. 23 years of a belief system. Her words, not mine. Now notice the expectation she carried. She expected the problem to be outside. The marriage, the man, the situation. Instead, she discovered the source was internal. Listen carefully. She is not describing a bad husband. She is describing a woman who stayed inside a story she built herself. The marriage was not the prison. The belief was, and that realization rarely comes without a cost. 23 years was the price. Now here's the part that most people only understand years too late. This is not just her story. Right now, somewhere, someone is living inside the same belief, calling it a bad marriage, calling it the wrong person, calling it anything, except what it actually is. The timeline matters. 23 years before the realization. The realization only came after the exit, not before, after. Decisions echo later. Sometimes 23 years later. She said, I was creating my circumstances. The evidence is already on the table. I'm not giving you the verdict. Stay sharp.
7 months ago, my life flipped completely upside down when I got a wild hair to check my husband's Apple Watch. And in 2 seconds, I found some of the most disgusting text messages that I have ever read from a married man. And I discovered his infidelity. And 24 hours later, he and his parents walked out of my house. I lost, at the time, what I felt like was my whole life. And for anybody saying, it's been 7 months, get over it, it's very apparent you've never experienced anything like this before, as this is the most traumatic thing I have ever been through in my entire life. I lost my best friend. I lost an entire marriage. I lost essentially the father of my kids, my life partner, in a split second. And I wasn't expecting it. I've spent the last 7 months trying to figure out what life is going to look like for me and my girls, as we are in the middle of a divorce that I had no control over. And life is going to look a whole lot different. I am now going to be the provider for the 3 of us, and I've spent a lot of time figuring out what I wanted that to look like and how I wanted that to be, and how much I didn't want the girls' lives to shift and change for the choices that someone else made. And for the first time in 7 months, I'm excited about the future and what this is going to do for me and my kids. And I'm proud of me for doing way more than I ever imagined that I could. And I think that life is about to get a whole lot better for us. And I think we're going to have a life that we never ever could have had before. And I'm grateful and I'm excited. And for the first time in a really long time, I'm hopeful because things are looking up. I started sharing my journey here in March, and this all started in January. And I never dreamed that this is what that was going to look like, that 230,000 people were going to start following me and my redemption story. But I'm excited, and I'm here to tell you that that story starts now. So, thank you for being here, and I hope you'll stick around to see where life takes us.
Pay attention to the sequence. 2 seconds. Not 2 hours of suspicion, not months of doubt. 2 seconds on an Apple Watch, and everything was gone. The timeline matters. January, discovery. 24 hours later, he walked out. 7 months later, she is still standing. Now notice what she did not do. She did not collapse permanently. She did not disappear. She became the provider for herself, for her girls. Her words, not mine. But here is what most people miss. She said, a divorce she had no control over. And this is the part that many people only understand when it happens to them. You can do everything right. You can be present. You can be the partner. And the decision can still be made without you. That is a different kind of grief. Not the grief of a bad marriage. The grief of a betrayed trust. And that realization rarely comes without a permanent cost. 7 months. 230,000 people following her rebuild. The man who walked out has no idea what he left behind. The sequence tells a story. I'm not giving you the verdict. The evidence is already on the table. Stay sharp.
Yeah, I just left court and I have now finalized my divorce. I am no longer a Watts. I got my last name back, and I am happy about that. He can go on with his life. I can move on with my life, and that's just it. I'm so thankful that Judge Baldwin, he finalized my divorce. So shit, he granted that shit, and so you know what I'm saying, it's up from there. So yes, I am so glad that it is over with. That is a chapter closed in my life. Great beginning of 2026, y'all. And, you know, hey.
Notice the word she chose. Not relieved, not healing, not finally at peace. Happy, fresh out of the courthouse. Ring gone, last name gone. Marriage done, and she is happy. Her words, not mine. Now pay attention to the expectation. She expected this moment to feel like victory. And standing outside that courthouse, it does. But here is what the camera doesn't show. Somewhere right now, there is a man who built something with this woman, who showed up, who funded a life, who has no idea this video exists. And here is the part that most people only understand when the silence arrives. The celebration outside the courthouse lasts minutes. The chapter that closed lasted years. A chapter closed. Her words. But chapters don't close alone. They close on everyone inside them. The kids, the family, the man who is now also starting a new chapter, whether he was ready or not. This is not just one courthouse. This is what the end of marriage looks like when only one person is celebrating. Decisions echo later. The happiness is real today. The timeline will speak tomorrow. I'm not giving you the verdict. The evidence is already on the table. Stay sharp.
Okay, story time. I just signed my divorce papers and I feel so relieved and elated for that chapter of my life to be over. I feel so free. When I got to the notary, I told the notary that I was excited and that I was signing divorce papers, and I think she was surprised by my reaction. But she participated with me and she's like, yay, and I said yay. And I ended up giving her a sticker I had that I had gotten Southern Humboldt of a couple crystals that said manifest it, and I felt like she needed it at the time. But today is a really good day. Anybody who's been trapped in a situation for a long time knows this feeling, and I am elated to be free.
Pay attention to what she brought to the notary, not just papers. Crystals, stickers, a celebration kit for a legal office, to end a marriage. Her words, not mine. Now notice the expectation. She expected this moment to feel like liberation, standing at that notary desk. It does, but here is what most people only understand years too late. She used one word repeatedly, trapped, and this is the part that stays with you. Right now, somewhere, someone is sitting inside a marriage calling it trap, planning the exit, already imagining the relief. The crystals, the yay, the stickers, the celebration is real. The feeling is real, but feelings have timelines. And liberation has a morning after. She manifested freedom. The question the timeline will answer is what exactly she was free from, a bad situation, or a stable structure she hadn't learned to appreciate yet. Choices have timelines. Decisions echo later. The crystal said, manifest it. She did. I'm not giving you the verdict. The sequence will. Stay sharp.
I got a divorce today, and my oldest daughter bought me some flowers. And she also brought me a card, and I want to read it to you guys. So it says, congratulations on being a free woman. I pray that you truly find peace in life and know that you are loved for being you. You are so brave. Good things are on its way to you. You will be repaid for every tear. I hope you don't worry. Life is going to treat you right. The clouds just had to clear. It may not make sense now, but the peace you will get from being free will make it all make sense. You are a queen. You never needed any man to define you. I know you'll get everything you deserve. You are highly favored and special. If you have no one, you have you, me, and God. It's all about perspective. You're free. I am free. I'm free, y'all.
Pay attention to who wrote that card. Not a friend, not a therapist, not a stranger on the internet. A daughter, a child who grew up inside that home. Who watched that marriage from the beginning? Who learned what love looks like from the inside? And the lesson she took away, her words, not mine. You never needed any man to define you. Now here's the part that most people only understand when it is too late. That little girl did not learn that line from a book, from a classroom, from a stranger. She learned it watching. And this is not just one daughter. Right now, somewhere, a child is watching a parent celebrate an exit, taking notes, building a belief system that will travel with her for the rest of her life. The mother is celebrating freedom. The daughter is being educated. That card was written with love. No one is questioning that. But love does not make the lesson less permanent. The flowers will fade. The card will be kept. And somewhere in that little girl's future, that line will surface again. You never needed any man. Decisions echo later. Sometimes through the people who were watching all along. I'm not giving you the verdict. The daughter already wrote it. Stay sharp.